Thank you. Send this message to Justin Trudeau, please.
Yeah.
Tell him that we're united. It's just not a white supremacist group. We're not a small fringe minority. Thank you.
We're not. Thank you.
Oh, well, if we can't find any racists, can we at least find someone violent? That's even better, since it's a pretext to unleash violence back against the truckers, or even ban them. We've heard that rhetoric from the liberals and the media that these are terrorists, and you know they're terrorists since they're sitting in their trucks honking their horns as terrorists do. I mean, don't worry, the media party is ready to say that listening to horns honking is a kind of physical assault. I'm serious. Not a 2-year lockdown, but horns honking, that'll undo your health. Well, here was one attempt to have that terrorist moment.
He's just pretending. He's pretending.
I'm serious. What an actor. But Ottawa is full of people like that, dramatic actors. They desperately want some retroactive proof that their level of offendedness is justified. That's tricky given their prior support for Black Lives Matter and all other manner of protesters and riot. I mean, bouncy castles, people, truckers picking up garbage in the streets, shoveling snow. Pretty tough to demonize. But there actually was a car that plowed into people for real. Into 4 people, in fact. Take a look. This is dash cam footage from a trucker protest in Winnipeg. Peaceful, of course, but then someone looking for violence against the truckers drove into them, hit 4 people. One had to go to hospital. He tried to flee at high speed. Here, take a listen to the police.
I'm Constable Rob Carver, Public Information Officer with the Winnipeg Police Service. Just one matter to talk about. Yesterday evening at about 9:10 p.m., Winnipeg police were advised of a motor vehicle collision near Broadway and Memorial Boulevard. The initial information was that a westbound Jeep Patriot had driven through a group of protesters that were part of the Freedom Convoy at the Legislative grounds. The Jeep then fled west, ultimately going down Portage Avenue, where numerous witnesses reported it traveling at high rates of speed and passing through red lights. With the assistance of the RCMP, Winnipeg Police Service officers were able to stop the vehicle in the 4800 block of Portage Avenue at approximately 10:30. The lone male driver was arrested after a brief struggle. The Jeep struck 4 adult males in total. 3 sustained minor injuries that did not require medical attention, and that's actually not quite accurate. They were treated at the scene by Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service, and the 4th was treated in hospital and released. As a result, male from Headingley, Manitoba faces charges of assault with a weapon ×4, dangerous operation of a conveyance caused bodily harm ×2, dangerous operation of a conveyance, failed to stop after accident knowing that the driving was reckless ×2, and failed to stop at the scene of an accident ×2. And he is currently in custody. We haven't named the individual yet because charges haven't been formally sworn to, and we are obligated to not release a name until that process is complete. I guess I'll take questions.
So hang on, you literally rammed people at a political protest. You fled, you resisted arrest, and that's just an assault charge, is it? Huh. Our reporters, Sheila Gunn Reid, Dave Shrigley, and others did some pretty basic digging, frankly, and the man, David Zegarak, the suspect, he has a long history of hardcore left-wing Antifa-style activism and violence. If you heard his name, David Zegarak, you'd remember that name, wouldn't you? Have you even heard of his alleged crime? Have you heard anything about this case at all? Say, if it were a trucker plowing into someone else, if the shoe was on the other foot, do you think it would have been thrown down the memory hole in the same way, or do you think it's all you'd be hearing about? But seriously, there is more demand than supply for racism and violence. So look at this. This is from the disgraced Bernie Farber from the so-called Canada Anti-Hate Network. What a laugh. They are the hate network, that's for sure. They're professional liars. You might recall they are literally paid to smear conservatives as violent. Here's one of their staff apologizing for saying we are somehow affiliated with terrorism. But that wasn't really a mistake by her, really. She's a hired liar, which is a weird job. Trudeau's government gave this group over $250,000 to foment hate and publicly smear their enemies. Seriously, we read the contract. You can read the contract. Remember, we did a whole show on that. They're paid to smear enemies of the Liberals and make public complaints against them. It's in the contract. Well, obviously, they are very much needed in this trucker story since nothing else seems to be working.
That's an excerpt from my daily show, The Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.